Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the 95th edition of Cinema Effect. I'm Zach, and I'm joined by Disney's number one hater, Jaden.
G'day.
G'day, good morning. And we got our resident Irish citizen here, a.k.a. the Peacemaker, a.k.a. Fitzy, a.k.a. Liam.
Hey.
What's up? What's up? What's up, bro? What's up?
What's up with you?
What's up, G? Yeah, I'm alright, you know. I had a smoothie. It was pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
I had time to choose between a shower and a smoothie, and I made my choice. I made it hard, you know.
You haven't had a shower?
No.
Gross, man. Gross.
Sorry. Yeah. But hey, I made a 6 smoothies, so I'm happy with that, you know. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Cinema Effect, the podcast where we review and talk about a different movie every single Monday. And this week, that movie is Aliens, with an S. Opened in the US on July 18th, 1986. It was directed by James Cameron. It's an action sci-fi film, and the synopsis says, 57 years after surviving an apocalyptic attack aboard her space vessel by merciless space creatures, Officer Ripley awakens from hypersleep and tries to warn anyone who will listen about the predators.
Predators?
Oh, some foreshadowing there. Oh, wow. Oh my God, thank God we're not doing those ones. I think I'm still the only one. Well, you guys have seen all of these, right? So I don't need to ask this ever again if you've seen these movies.
Yeah, I've seen all of
I
them.
haven't seen the fourth one. But
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. I'll definitely won't remember that, but that's cool. Jaden, what did you think of Aliens on a rewatch?
I don't know, I was kind of let down and a bit disappointed by it. I remember first watching Aliens. I don't remember watching it. I remember my reaction to first watching Aliens back, I don't know, fucking 5 years ago maybe. And I thought it was up there competing with the original. I thought maybe even better. Despite its shift of genre and shift of tone, I thought that it was still pretty solid. But then on this rewatch, I felt pretty disengaged from it. I still think it was pretty decent, but I think that I don't know. I guess just in this 5 years, my perception of it has changed due to how severely it alters, you know, its tone.
Oh, totally. Yeah. It's. I mean, I knew that going in, but even still, it was a trip. Like, yeah, it's very different. It's very different. Liam, what about you?
I thought it was okay the first time I watched it. Yeah, I'm same with Jaden. I couldn't even get into it this time. It was... I was bored out of my goddamn mind, you know.
Whoa!
Gee.
I mean, I watched it like in the background. Sometimes I wasn't even watching it, so
Yeah.
I didn't have much to contribute. But yeah, I don't know. It doesn't have much tension, and the characters are all kind of, I don't know, pretty lame, I guess. And yeah, it's just the Xenomorphs as well are just like really, they feel really easy to kill and they're not scary. And I don't know, there's a bunch of things I could say about it, I guess, but it was just not engaging.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty similar with you guys. I'm probably more leaning towards Jaden, but I think we're all pretty close. I kind of liked it. It didn't live up to expectations for me, but I don't know. It was solid. You know, I enjoyed it enough. I think it's just one of those films that was so influential that I feel like I've already seen it. You know, like I've seen it so many times, but I've never seen it. You know, it's just one of those things. It lacks the still incredible suspense and atmosphere that we talked about with Ridley's film. And, you know, that's not what it's going for, I don't think, which is fine. But at the end of the day, the execution and direction of Alien is what makes it still exciting to watch in 2022, as opposed to this film being more of a standard, you know, action affair. So, you know, not to discredit James Cameron, I've got no doubt the film was influential at its time, but it just, from my perspective, it doesn't really hold up nearly as well. In terms of what Fitz is saying, from an engagement perspective, 100%. I'm still a fan of some aspects and some moments for sure. Like I overall, it was like a cool whatever watch, but it's definitely quite forgettable overall, I think, especially compared to the first one. Like I watched it last night and I'm already like, I don't know, there was like, I can't really remember what happened in the whole middle hour of this movie because it was just sort of like, I don't know, we were walking around the space place a lot, I guess. I don't know. Like there was just a lot of us slowly scanning the area and, in corridors. It was just a lot of that, so that's fine. But there is a director's cut for this. No, we didn't watch this, or have you guys seen that one before?
Yeah, that's the first one.
I was trying to think, because I'm not sure if I watched the director's cut originally, but this time I watched it on Disney Plus just to make sure that I had the same experience as you guys.
Right.
So I'm not sure if I originally watched the director's cut and that was why my perception was better or not. So yeah, I can't really comment on that because I just can't recall.
Yeah, I don't know how different it is. I saw in the trivia that there was some, I don't know, it looked like they added some deleted scenes, but
Yeah, it's
nothing.
a lot longer. It's like 40 minutes.
Oh, is
longer.
it? 40 minutes? Oh, shit. Okay. God.
Well, I remember one scene they put in there, but I don't remember much else. Actually, I think my favorite scene is in the other version.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I don't know if I can take 40 more minutes of this. You know what I mean? It was just okay enough how it was. I didn't need more of this.
I think it does make it a lot better because, one thing I did notice watching it this time was that it felt like a lot of those sequences within the compound were they felt a lot shorter than I imagined, the whole build up to meeting Newt and then afterwards, and then, even the preparation after they find the aliens and then, they go back and they steal all the shit. All that felt a lot more condensed, and I have a feeling the way I watched it had more of it, so yeah. Maybe
that's probably true.
The superior version.
Maybe. I don't know. It surprised me in that way, I guess, but I was also, surprised to see at the very start that this was written by James Cameron. I did not know that. And he's actually the writer of the film first and foremost. He was attached to this in the early 80s as the writer. He wrote the screenplay, and then he wasn't originally meant to direct. And then apparently, it's sort of him, he went and did Terminator. He'd written the screenplay for this, did Terminator, and then sort of Fox had the trust in him to direct at that point. So I was like, oh, that's interesting to me. I don't really think of James Cameron as a writer as much. So that was interesting to me that he was hired to write this film. That was the first thing, but I don't know. It feels like a James Cameron script. You know what I mean? It's pretty straightforward, and it's the same thing I already said. Alien is also straightforward, but it's sort of let's take another simple story, a very similar story to the first one, for all intents and purposes, and let's sort of make it a James Cameron movie. And I think we all sort of understand what that means. You know what I mean? In terms of just being action-based and in it for the escapism and the effects and all that cool stuff. And there is cool stuff, but I don't know if James Cameron's one for, tension as much. I don't think I've ever seen a film of his. Even Terminator I wouldn't really describe that as a tense film. I think Terminator's a much better film than this, but I don't really describe that as a tense film per se. I think he just nails 80s action set pieces and what that means, but yeah, I don't know. It was kind of cool. And even down to the opening, the opening wasn't as impressive. And I think that sort of set the vibe for the whole thing, especially doing a direct comparison to Aliens opening. Aliens opening. The opening of the first film was awesome. We talked about that last time. And this time felt like sort of a shorter, less interesting, imitation of it. And I guess that sort of sums up the whole movie for me anyway. That was sort of my thoughts on that. The whole movie just feels so bright
when you talk about the opening, how much do you talk? What point are you talking about? From where to where?
Oh, I'm sorry. The opening credits. Right,
okay.
Totally.
My apologies. Yeah.
So I was like, you're talking up to the space station or fucking.
Sorry. Yeah. No. That was on me.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree with you on that point. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was still it was cool enough, but yeah, and the whole that and just the whole movie in general, it's just sort of bright and sort of blue. The Xenomorphs don't feel as scary in this movie, and there's probably lots of reasons why, but I think a large part of it is just the way the film's sort of lit, it's not lit poorly at all. It's like it's very deliberate, but it's still sort of interesting to me overall. I think, especially a lot of the I don't know, all the exterior shots of the spaceships are so bright, and you can sort of see all the intricacies of the models, which don't really hold up all that well compared to, I don't know, the shadows and the darkness and the suspense and all that of the first film. Did you guys notice how it was shot different? Was that a takeaway for you guys at all?
I think one of the biggest most jarring things is like is the landing of the ship initially, as like it's kind of like going through like all the clouds and shit, and it looks terribly dated. Like,
Oh, for sure.
Like we talked about, in the first one, nothing looks dated, and like it kind of comes out the door swinging in this one that like, it's a product of its time. I think the space station they were on earlier was like, like that kind of, Gate 6 or whatever it was called, that Ripley was on, and like where she wakes up and shit. I think that looked great. But then when they kind of go and try to do like more complex tracking, moving shots with these kind of models, it lost some of its feel. But then once again, when they get to the compound, I think it kind of gains it back. It comes and goes.
It's
what they're trying to do.
I totally agree. It's hit or miss overall.
Yeah.
I think, like the sequence of the ship landing is, I don't know, kind of not great, but the only parts of it that look good are the close exterior shots, like the close-ups of like the side of the ship and the clouds. Like when you're basically right there at the window, like that looks fine. The second we start getting like any shots further back, it looks like trash. And that's just a testament to other films at the time and before this that like still hold up with some, space sequences and things like that. So yeah, I don't know. But that stuff was it just shows its cracks way more than the first film. And I was surprised to see that it came out a full 7 years after Alien. It feels like a long time. I don't know, it feels like a long time in terms of when we think about modern Hollywood, they bust out sequels real quick, So that was interesting to me at least, but I don't know if that was maybe more par for the course at the time. Or maybe not. Like Temple of Doom was pretty quick, right?
And even the Star Wars was pushed out pretty soon.
Yeah, it's true.
But
yeah, this was...
all Alien releases are kind of staggered, like 3 comes out in 93, and then 4 is like 97, and then Prometheus is 2012, and then Covenant 2017. Like they've all had quite large gaps, and I think that is because like they are trying to figure out what to do next. Because each of them, like this one, each of them do kind of shift in the way they're telling their story.
And I'll see for the future, but just for me at the moment, with that, they shift in tone and genre, but they don't really leave anything that interesting to sort of for the next story to tell, Like, I like that this film was a direct sequel to Alien. I personally wasn't, I don't know why, but I wasn't really expecting us to get Ripley still like right. We picked up right there. She's frozen in the sleeping pod or whatever. And the 57-year time jump, all that stuff's cool. But then going to the end of this film, like, am I interested in another adventure with Ripley? Not really, Like, I've got, I don't know what story is it going to be? And by all accounts, probably not a great one. But it's sort of just like, I don't know, like this. It is what it is, and they're cool standalone films, but they're not really building. Probably due to it, just feels like they don't have any sort of idea of like a continuous story they're telling at all. They're sort of just like coming back 7 years later and winging it again. Like, oh, what are we going to do? I don't know. That's sort of the vibe I've gotten so far. Like even I don't know, even Sigourney Weaver, like she's not bad, right, at all. She was actually nominated for Best Actress for this film, the Academy Awards, which was sort of surprising to me. But she was just less interesting to me this whole time. I thought she was cool in the first one, in that she was sort of I don't know, what was she, like a navigator, or she was just sort of a worker on the ship, thrust into this situation, just another crew member. And we talked about in the first review how sort of neat it was that it wasn't really evident that she was the main character at all until like an hour into the movie. And she just sort of feels that she's just another person here in this situation. She's just a regular chick, And then this time, she just feels like she's playing like action star, which is, I don't know, it's fine. It's probably what I'm going to say about everything with this movie. Like, it's fine, it's cool, but not as engaging, I think. Liam, would you have given Sigourney Weaver Best Actress at the Academy Awards? Would you have nominated her?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's a good performance.
Oh, well, there you go.
You know, she's doing her thing.
What was your most memorable moment rewatching it? Was there any particular scene where like you were looking up at the screen and you were like, "Oh, that's sort of surprising," or
I don't know. I like the start where she wakes up and then it's kind of disorientating, I guess. I like that scene where like the cat, the cat yells and she like has like a traumatic response or whatever. Like the cat screams.
oh, the nightmare? Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Well, like before that, yeah.
And she imagined that she has a chest burster. Chest burster.
That was messed up. That
was good.
Yeah, it got me too. I thought that for a second I'm like, this isn't happening, right?
But
like, it got me for a little second there.
Talking about the bases and stuff, in the extended version, the scene I like the most is there's like this corridor sequence where they basically set up these like automatic machine guns, and the aliens like run down the they like they run into them kind of, and it's like a really good use of like location. Like you kind of figure out where everything is, like in the base. It's kind of cool that way.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
I don't really get much a sense of that in this one. And I think maybe the extended version like kind of expands upon like just like the like geography of it. It makes it all make a bit more sense. And like that makes it a bit more, real, a bit more tense.
That's disappointing to me because I'm a sucker for that kind of thing. If that was more prevalent here. Yeah,
but
cool.
that scene in the extended version is really great. Basically, just the aliens are getting blasted, but like hundreds of them. It's really cool. It's like the most, James Cameron thing.
Not in this movie though. not in the one we watched, unfortunately. God damn it. Oh well. I'm pretty sure James Cameron is just like ripping himself off at this point, like the bloody yellow crane suit things just being the things from Avatar.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah. Cool, good on you, James. Why not? Just do it again. That's fine. I'd never seen those in my life. I don't know if they're iconic. That yellow mech suit thing, but I'd never seen it before. And the final fight with it was real lame. Real lame.
Oh yeah.
Just no score at all, dude. There's nothing. There's just like awkward machinery sounds.
Actually, the movie barely has a score. I noticed that. So I was kind of watching it. I turned it down a bit. I'm like, am I not enjoying this because I'm not like listening to the score and like getting involved that way? And then I turned it up, and it was just like they were just walking around and trying to find something.
Walking around. Yeah, that's the movie.
No score.
Yeah. And when it is there, I wasn't very impressed with it. Like it had, in its like more intense moments towards the end, like the final countdown when Ridley goes back in to get you, like it's present there and it has it's huge Terminator vibes, dude. Huge. Like the friggin', I don't even know how to describe it. The Terminator sound that sounds like someone friggin' like clanging something on metal or something.
Oh, yeah.
That was there a lot.
High pitched, yeah.
Whatever that is. That was there a lot. But overall, I was pretty disappointed, especially compared to the first film. I felt like the film was underscored. It wasn't there enough, and when it was there, it was sort of just like, oh yeah, this sounds like Terminator, sort of. So, but yeah, I mean, that final mech fight was just awkward as, dude. That was weird. The whole ending was just weird in my opinion. I would have been much happier if the film had just ended when Bishop came back, because I was like, yeah, Bishop, good for you, bro. That's great. And he came back. And they had a little moment, and then the Queen's there again. And I'm like, oh, fuck, here we go. And, I really didn't need that again. I didn't need the whole, let's blast it into space for a second time. At that point, it felt redundant. Like, this is just getting absurd for me. Especially when I liked Bishop a lot, actually. He's probably my favorite character in the film. I really liked the performance as well. That casting was spot on. Like that man looks like a robot. You know what I mean? He's got like sort of his bonal structure and stuff. And it was a good performance too. I quite liked that. So the ending sort of being him, that mistrust that Ripley understandably has for AI and stuff, and then him coming back and still being there and saving them, and him having nice words with them at the end. I thought that was cool. And then it kept going. But he's still fine though. I thought dude, when he got ripped in half, that shit was violent. But I'm so happy he seems okay because he's there at the end. They put like half his torso into the pod or whatever. So
Yeah, he doesn't need all his ligaments. He'll survive.
yeah, man, his friggin' bottom half at the end there looked like pasta, man. Looked like looked terrible.
He didn't even care. He was fine.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, he was just straight up like he was still giving encouragement right at the end there. He was still like, "You got this, Ripley." I was like, "Cool, bro." I hope I see him again. I hope he better be in Fincher's film. I want to see Bishop again. I'm just saying that. I'm throwing that out there now. I don't know, but we'll see. I mean, I don't want to come across too negative. I want to give the film credit where it's due. I think the first scene where they encounter the Xenomorphs, and spoilers, guys, there's multiple of them this time, believe it or not. And I thought that scene was pretty good when they sort of, I mean, it takes way too long to get there. I'm like, dude, are we fucking, come on now. But, and not in it, like, it was the same in the first film, but that was engaging the whole time. This time I'm just like, where are the aliens, man? But anyway, when they turned up and we got in there and their sort of nesting area with all the eggs and shit, and that was cool. And I can, once again, similar to the first film, I think they did a really good job of sort of blending them into the background. I like how we get often quick shots of them just moving behind characters and stuff, and it's really unsettling. And even the way they attack and move in this film, I quite like. The first Xenomorph sort of felt like a towering, I don't know, like a strong sort of dominating presence, whereas in this film they feel more agile because there's more of them, and they don't feel as large, but they're sort of quick and fast moving and stuff, and I quite like that. And I thought every scene where they're sort of jumping around through vents and shit, like I thought that actually looks pretty good. So I like that as sort of a direction change. But there's no doubt at all that they do lose some of their intimidation in the way that, obviously we're talking about quantity now, but now that we have guns, we can just blast these dudes, And that does, the film loses something when we can just shoot these things. And I guess that's why they felt the need to do the whole Xenomorph queen at the end. That's what it is, right? It's the queen, I guess.
Yeah.
Ripley calls it a bitch, so I figured that was what it was. I guess that's it. I figure that's sort of the weird progression of it, where I think they understood that they've sort of turned the Xenomorph, the scary thing from the first film, into just grunts, and therefore they needed to take up that next level and introduce a queen character, which is, I don't know, it's fine, but it's kind of boring. I don't know. Queen, I liked the Queen's design though. Probably up until it took the elevator trip. That was a little interesting. I don't know. The Queen sort of just got in the elevator there and was like, floor 4, please. That was kind of interesting, but okay, cool.
I had to read, and apparently the director's cut's only about 15 to 20 minutes longer, but still, I think it is important additions.
I'm sure it is. Yeah. Disney Plus, add director's cuts, please. That's my request.
Or you can just, buy the DVD and
support physical media.
Yeah.
Never. Not for this film, actually. I'm not supporting this film, I
have both.
Oh. Are they both in there?
Yeah.
How do we feel about Newt? We have to add a kid character in here, sort of.
I forgot about Newt.
I think she's mostly good. I think sometimes they give her a bit too much dialogue, and the kind of limits of her acting are kind of exposed. But I think for the majority of the time, I think she does a pretty good job. And I think she's a fine character, and I like what the way they have to take care of it. Like it's pretty typical stuff, like you've said. But like I like the dynamic that she has.
Yeah, I kind of liked it too. I mean, did you feel the whole like kid screaming and therefore is annoying syndrome in this, or?
No, I didn't find her. I only found Hudson annoying. I didn't find her annoying at all. But like, yeah, Hudson and some of the other soldiers just pissed me off.
Yeah. The other soldiers are pretty forgettable, to be honest with you. Like, I don't know anything about them. There was like the badass chick. I kind of liked her just because she sort of stands out aesthetically. She had like the bandana. I was like, all right,
It's
cool.
it's funny that you say that because like I saw her and I was like, she looks too orange, right? She looked like they'd sprayed her on, right? And like her name is
Yeah,
Vasquez, right? So it implies that she's of like some kind of Latin American descent. But
yeah.
like I had a look, and the actor's just like full American, like white. So like that is all just like spray tan. And
Oh, that's weird.
I was like,
Oh,
that makes. I was like, I thought it looked wrong. I was like, yeah,
wait, she's just straight up like a white chick.
yeah.
Oh, okay, that's it's interesting.
Let me double
That's
check that
interesting.
before I slander her, but I'm pretty sure. Like I
Oh no, dude, I'm ready to cancel James Cameron right now. You ready?
yeah,
I can hit the tweet button so quick. You know, let's go viral with this. It's
yeah. Her real
unbelievable.
name's fucking Goldstein. Goldstein. I mean, like like she's yeah,
I don't
yeah. No,
know.
she's
That's interesting. I wasn't thinking about that, but that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. I don't know, man. In terms of new, like, I probably liked her a bit less than you, Jane, but I don't know, she was fine. I appreciate that they need to sort of add another dynamic to this film character wise for Ripley. And by the end, she becomes a mummy because Newt calls her mummy. That was powerful. Um, so I don't know, that's sort of cool for Ripley, I guess. I sort of more enjoy it through the lens of her as opposed to like Newt herself. I don't know, she's fine, I guess. But my whole thing was I really enjoy, of course, in the first film, there's the standard thing we have to go back and rescue someone to keep this action going, of course. And that's why this film did. But dude, I was way more invested when it was Jonesy. You know what I mean? When we had to go back for Jonesy, I'm like, Ripley, we're doing this, we're doing it. And then when we had to go back for Newt, I'm like, do we though? No, I'm like, oh, she's all right.
you know her
She's
for like
fine.
2 days. It's fine. Get rid of it.
Yeah. Jonesy's like your best pal.
When Ripley was like, we can't go, I was like, I forgot why they couldn't go. I was like, why can't you just go?
Oh, there's another character. Oh shit,
Yeah.
I forgot. Yeah, man. Yeah. So I don't know. So in that sense, like, you know, maybe just you could have put another cat there, just a new cat, and I probably would have been more invested. But that's more of a me thing. I respect that. I understand that. But also, just huge shout out again to Jonesy for being in this movie and still being awesome. And I don't know, of course. MVP. I really hope Jonesy wasn't recast. You know, I hope they gave that original actress or actor, I don't know, so some limelight here to reprise his or her role in the film. But we'll
I
see.
don't
I don't
know.
know.
6 years, he might have aged too much, and it might have been too much of a deal. That it could be a recast.
Do you think his meow would have hit puberty, or that's always an issue? That's an issue sometimes. I know. Yeah.
Just incredibly deep. Yeah.
What have I got for trivia for you here? James Cameron. I thought this was really interesting, and a lot of the trivia centered around this core idea here. But this is the one I chose. James Cameron faced a big problem trying to win the confidence and respect of the British crew, many of whom had worked on Alien in 1979 and were fiercely loyal to Ridley Scott. In order to try and convince them he had the talent and skills for the job, he arranged a screening of the Terminator for the crew on the set to demonstrate his abilities. However, most of the crew ignored his invite and didn't bother to turn up, which is sort of just funny in itself. But the moral of the story that I found really interesting is the fact that they shot the film at Pinewood, as many films in its era were, and working an entirely British crew. And I've never thought about that. Like having, as a director, can you imagine James coming over here trying to direct this film that he wrote and the crew just sort of being against you? Like that's an interesting dynamic to make a film on. You know, I've never really thought about that. I thought that was fascinating personally. That'd be pretty tricky. I don't know. And there was more trivia about how like all the American actors, like they were used to shooting 12-hour days, and all the British crew were like not interested in working that long and wanted to have tea breaks and all this sort of thing, and they were making fun of each other for like, you know, not working and stuff. It was an interesting vibe on set apparently, which is cool. But I don't know, better or worse than Ridley Scott bullying his actors? I don't know. It's up to you to decide.
I mean, was he really bullying?
Just intimidating. Yeah.
Just freaking covering them with real deer and shit, like real guts. Remember that? God.
It's necessary.
Cool. Yeah. I know what kind of filmmaker Jane's going to be. And like most films, the movie was not shot in sequence. But for added realism, James Cameron filmed the scene where we first meet all the colonial Marines last. This was so that the camaraderie of the Marines was more realistic because the actors had spent months together. Makes sense. Good on you, James. Well done. Well done. I always like trivia about when things were shot out of order and stuff. I think it's interesting. The goddamn xenomorph bursting out of the chest looks just as crazy, you know? Every time, like, you can do that, like, if Alien 3 does it 5 times in the one movie, I'm still going to find it terrifying equally every time, you know? That poor lady who was still alive. Can you believe that?
Oh, yeah.
I was trying to think of the part you're talking about until just then. I was like, I thought you were talking about like the Ripley thing earlier. Yeah, no.
Oh, well, that too. Yeah. That was fake, thank God.
What did you think of Whiplash Dad? I think he's actually pretty good in the film. It's like kind of what's his name?
I didn't notice.
The company guy.
Carter Burke.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Didn't notice that at all. Yeah, I kind of liked him. He was cool. It's that tropey character of the slimy dude, you know, and I guess sticking with the tradition of the first film, you know, the company has to be involved and manipulating the situation for the, you know, to the detriment of the characters. So they're continuing that thing. But I quite liked him. He was a scumbag. He was slimy. Well, that's the thing, actually. Like, he is a scumbag in his role in the plot, but he sort of, like, he wasn't. His performance was quite good. I thought, like, it wasn't cartoonish in terms of like him being super obnoxious. Like, he was just a scared guy who was given a task. You know, he's paid by this company to do this thing, and he's like, "Got to do this shit."
Well, I think it is a bit. He does do things on his own, director a bit. He's not completely, you know. You can't absolve him completely of responsibility, but
that's true. He did shut the door in their face. He did do that.
He did also
impregnate
release 2 fucking facehuggers, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That sucks for him, man. Oh, yeah, I don't know. Well, he died anyway, so it's fine. He's fine. It all worked out. It all comes around in the end. There was a specific moment with him that I liked. I can't remember what it was now. It was when they confronted him about lying the whole time. Like, he was sitting down and they were interrogating him about lying the whole time. And he just took it. And then he just goes, This is crazy. Like, are you hearing what you're saying right now? Like, this is nuts, man. It's like the most half-assed lying. He just knew he was so screwed. It's like, oh, can you even hear yourself? It's like,
just be paranoid. You're just delusional.
Yeah. It was those half-assed though. Like, he was so dumb. Also, multiple times in this film, huge shout out to James Cameron. In the 80s. I don't think I've ever seen a film do this old for actually shooting high frame rate slow-mo shots. I was like, wow, James, good for you. There were multiple slow-mo shots that looked good because they weren't like 15 frames a second. So I appreciated that. That was cool. I didn't even know cameras had the ability to do frame rate and shit back then. I don't know.
Can I just say, like, what is Hicks? Like, is Hicks supposed to be, is he supposed to stand out? Because he's like, is that like a tropey thing, like a guy becomes a commander and then has to like take up that role or something? Or like, is that what they're going for with Hicks? Because it's kind of weird, like Hicks's spot in the film.
Well, he was like not second in command, or like he whatever after the captain was, you know, he was that person, so he had to step up. So like, yeah, he was like that that guy that didn't want the hero role forced upon him, but then he embraces it and he's good at it, you know, kind of like Han Solo, the smuggler that becomes the hero type thing.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, tropey for sure, yeah.
But it just feels like they never like fully embrace it. Or like I don't know, like they never, I don't know, it doesn't feel complete with Hicks. It feels like something's missing, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I the scene that I mentioned in the trivia where they're sort of all meeting each other, it feels like, and I did actually quite like when the what's his name, Bishop did the knife thing. That was cool. But like overall, like the camaraderie between them and the character building compared to how we praised the first film, it just wasn't as strong overall. Like these characters are just way more forgettable in my opinion. Like, is he Michael Biehn? Is that who that is?
Is that the
Michael
actor's
Biehn.
name?
Wait, what the hell's... Wait, it's something Bean. I don't know. Yeah, that guy, the actor. I don't know.
Sure.
The guy
You're
who...
talking
Not
about
Sean Penn.
Hudson?
Is that who that is? I don't know. I don't know their
It's actually
names
funny
anymore.
because
They're with H's.
when they introduce everyone,
Oh yeah, Michael Biehn. You're right.
the lieutenant
Oh, it
says
is?
like,
Okay.
the lieutenant says like, he mistakes like he mistakes Hudson for Hicks, I think.
That was me the whole movie. That was just me.
Right? Yeah.
I understood who they were when I was looking at them. But then, like, when they were talking about them, I'm like, I don't know which one you're talking. You're talking about one of the two of them, I guess. I don't know.
Like I quite like the knife scene because in it we see we see Bishop nick himself, with the knife, and it's interesting because he's like, I thought you were never meant to miss because he's an android. He technically cannot miss. And I think what it shows in my own personal headcanon, what's happened is that like Hudson has moved his hand and he's like panic, and he like moved it in the way of the knife. So like Bishop has sacrificed his own hand and like knifed himself instead of Hudson, and it kind of shows what he was talking about like how he physically can't harm a human, and it kind of shows that he can be trusted for later on and stuff like that. So I quite like that if that was the intent of that scene. But then again, if it's not the intent of that scene, then it's just fucking pointless and useless. So, whatever.
No, that makes a lot of sense. That probably is. I mean, I don't know why. I didn't think twice about it. That makes perfect sense. That's really cool, actually. And that stands... Dude, I'm telling you, Bishop is the best part of this movie. He was really cool. I really liked him. All right, well, we can get into our final verdicts for Aliens. Liam.
I don't know. I think it's technically better, but this level of unengagement probably deserves a 4, I guess. So, yeah, low
fat 4.
skinny ass 4. Yeah,
A 4-star health rating 4. Nice. All right, Jaden.
I'm gonna slap a 7 on it. I still think it's a solid product, and I still think that it's worthy of a score of that level. And it's just, especially, I'm hesitant to give it lower because I feel like perhaps a 6 would be more appropriate. But like, I'm hesitant to, because I want to rewatch the director's cut now and see how much that affects my perception. So like, we'll stick with a 7, which is 2 points down from what I initially gave it of the 9. But like, yeah.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, I'll give it a 6. I think it's solid. Like, I enjoyed it, and I feel like in talking about, for me, like my level of disengagement. Is that a word? Disengagement? Unengagement?
Yeah. No, just
whatever. Yeah. Yeah. We'll go with that. In comparison to Fitzy's, like my level of not being super engaged was more in comparison to the first film. I was not nearly as engaged in this film as the first one. That being said, though, like I wasn't bored during this movie. Like I was watching it and it was kind of like, all right, well, this is sort of going a bit long and there's this and that I don't love. But yeah, I don't know. Like I was still having a good enough time with it. So yeah, I think a 6 is sort of perfect for me right now, which I feel like I don't want this to be like a blasphemous episode to the listeners, but at least we agree. So that's the main thing.
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters. We're our own little clique here, you know. We can get into news chat where we have one story. And that one story, ladies and gentlemen, is that Cillian Murphy got his photo taken and posted online. Oh, sorry, no, he's playing. It's meant to be him playing Robert Oppenheimer. Whatever, is that his name, Robert?
Yeah.
Robert Oppenheimer. But it looks like just a picture of Cillian Murphy on the set of Peaky Blinders because he's got a cigarette in his mouth and he's got a hat on.
Really? I think he looks quite different.
Yeah, I don't think he looks anything like his Peaky Blinders character.
Can you guys give me one thing that looks different? Like just one thing. I'll take anything.
I just think his face looks more gaunt. Is gaunt a word? Gaunt?
Yeah, gaunt. Yeah.
Gaunt?
Yeah.
It's gaunt, as in like...
It's weaker.
Like haggard, yeah. I think he looks more like haggard than his Peaky Blinders character does. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll take that. Anything else, Fitzy?
Yeah. What James said, jaunt. Yeah.
I think it's gaunt. What did you say?
Gaunt. Oh, jaunt.
Jaunt?
I think it's gaunt.
Yeah, I think it's Gaunt.
Oh, yeah, Gaunt. Sorry.
We can. Jaden's is that he's gaunt, and yours is that he's jaunt, and they can be different answers. That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, he just looks really like thin faced, and I don't know. Like he
I
hasn't
see what
got
you're
much
saying.
sleep.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I see what you're saying, but at the same time, if this were like, I don't know if he has an Instagram, but if he were to just post this photo of him on Instagram, like he's just out for a Saturday, like I'd also believe you. You know what I mean? Something like there's something about this that's like screaming his next film. You know what I mean? I'm not hating. I'm down. It was just sort of like, yeah, all right, cool.
Oh wait,
I'll
it's
see the movie.
in black and white too, which maybe adds to it.
Oh yeah,
But is
That's a
this
good
an
Instagram filter, that one.
indication that the film might be black
No,
and
it
white?
is. It is. I'm pretty sure it's going to be the first IMAX film shot entirely in black and white.
It is going to be a black and white film.
I'm almost positive I read that somewhere. Can you confirm that, Zach? Or?
I cannot confirm. I know we talked about whether or not it would be, but I don't know the answer.
I thought it might be, but you guys seem to not think so.
I just don't think we knew at the time we were talking about it anyway. Well, hang on. Wait, is this? Hang on, I think we got it.
Well,
here.
we didn't know, but our opinions differed. Our predictions differed, I guess.
There's this article from 3 days ago that says, will Oppenheimer be filmed entirely in black and white? So we still don't know. But, I mean, I feel like it's a pretty good shot. That'd be
So
cool.
you're saying I could be right and you guys could be wrong, that's what you're saying.
Yeah, the photo hints that it might be in black and white. Okay, so they know as much as we do.
I'll take that. I'll take that W.
Take that victory royale right there. Now it's time for our highlights of the week. Jaden, what have you been watching?
I don't know, because I don't really want to talk about a lot of stuff because like I haven't finished a lot of stuff. Like I started, I guess I'll talk about starting Cuphead, but I haven't finished it. So like,
Oh, okay.
I'm
curious about this.
It's quite charming, but too kiddish, I'd say. Like, obviously with the animation style, you're gonna, it's appealing to a younger audience, but you know, like. I wouldn't exactly say that the original game is targeted towards kids, right? I mean,
oh God, no,
yeah,
not at all.
And you can tell how because like they changed like a lot of the themes, like they remove all the gambling shit, in the TBS show because
That's interesting.
Yeah, obviously you can't show gambling to kids and stuff like that.
Huh.
So like the tone is a bit, it does hit a bit lower than I'd like, but I still think it is just a charming show reminiscent of the time period with just. Kind of a bit more modern jokes, I guess. Yeah,
Is it funny?
There's some moments that are funny. Like I've probably laughed like every 2 episodes maybe, and like that's enough for me, honestly. Like I'm okay with just being wrapped up in the animation and then just every now and then just nice.
Well, that's the main appeal for me, is that the game's animation is incredible, and if it does that justice, which it sounds like it does, then
yeah.
I mean, that's the main reason I'd watch it. If the characters are cool, then that's sort of just a bonus,
I quite like the like. There's a few musical numbers, and I quite like the voice actor for the devil, and like he does a nice little song early on. So probably one of my favorite parts.
So it's not Lin-Manuel Miranda music?
No, it's very it's very show tunes music, obviously.
Oh, okay.
To match the aesthetic.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Well, I wasn't expecting music out of this, so that's cool. And they're only like 11 minutes, I think, right? So
15 odd, yeah.
Interesting. Okay. I mean, that sounds pretty watchable, so I'll probably check that out. Liam, what are you watching, my bro?
I watched Public Enemies, Pubic Enemies. Another Michael Mann film. Yeah.
Did you write an essay for this one?
Yeah. I did write a little essay. Very small. Half a paragraph.
Oh, the letterbox one. Yeah, that was good.
Why didn't you like it then, you little bitch? No, I'm joking.
Did I not like it?
No, it's fine.
I'm going to go and like it in a second.
I'll just cry. No, it was good. It's a gangster film, I guess. Johnny Depp. FBI hunting him down. Using, tracking technology, which is pretty amazing. They had in the the 30s, which is kind of what the film's about, just like the birth of that kind of technology, and like the film feels very like claustrophobic. It's always like you don't get much like wide shots or anything. It's very frantic, a lot of like shaky cam and stuff. Yeah, it's very like weirdly shot. It's very crazy in terms of the cinematography, but it's just very good. Johnny Depp is very good. It's very, the deaths are very, I feel like a lot of other Michael Mann films. They're very kind of sudden, and it's definitely it's an acquired taste. I wouldn't like watch this as your first Man experience, but I think
I was going to ask that because your and Andy's scores were quite off, and the reviews were quite different as well. Cause did you read Andy's review while it was up for those like 3 days?
I don't think I remember it. You said it was Mare, right?
Yeah, and then yours came along and it was praising it. I was like, oh, this is interesting.
Fight.
Yeah, well, I think
you don't remember any of the points you made to really contest.
No, but like I can see why, like Michael Mann's like latest kind of digital films are very divisive, I guess. Like this Black Hat, Miami Vice, like they're definitely a certain type of realism, like a certain vibe that you either get into or don't, I guess. I really enjoyed it.
The setting looks awesome. Like it's New York. Is it New York City or is it
Chicago?
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, that's the thing I want to
cool.
say about like Mann's films. Like you said, he shot like LA really well. Or like he's like the LA director.
Yeah,
and like I agree with that. Those films that are in LA, like Heat and Collateral, but also like every film he does, there's kind of like a different location, like Miami and Chicago. There's a lot of different American cities that he just like really like. You feel like he gets the vibe of. So yeah, he's not just like LA exclusive, I guess.
he didn't sign a contract with the LA City Council to just only
He
shoot
didn't
films
sign
there.
a contract with Arnold Schwarzenegger, American California.
Oh yeah, the governor. That's right.
No.
I forgot. I forget that he did that. I'll tell you what I finished this week. I finished a show called Ted Lasso, and I've been watching this show for the last few months now, and it is an absolute delight. I could not recommend it enough. It is no business being as good as it is. It is it's very surprising, and I went in, heard rave things about it, family members recommending it. So I was going in like I was expecting to like it for sure. I was expecting like a cool, fun comedy, like just the premise alone of a American football coach going over and teaching and coaching in the Premier League in England is a funny, like inherently cool premise by itself. So I was just expecting a fun comedy with that premise, and I was expecting to enjoy it, but I was not expecting it to just be so well written and so charming and just so witty, and like it's so deliberate, and like every scene just hits. It's really special compared to, I don't know, not to pick on anyone, but like some other TV shows these days, like I don't know, Disney Plus shows and stuff. When you watch these scenes, like it's just like watch Ted Lasso and watch how you direct and write a scene that just works. It's a delight. Jason Sudeikis is awesome. The whole cast is awesome, and it was so funny going back after I finished it this weekend, watching on YouTube this original skit that Jason Sudeikis had done in 2013 or something, where he plays the character Ted Lasso, and it's the exact same premise in this like 5-minute skit that he did for CBS, I think at the time, like promoting the World Cup being on the network. And it was just some dumb ad basically, and I watched that, and that was funny in itself, and it's obviously the same idea. And it's just so wild to me how they took this, like, for all intents and purposes, like Saturday Night Live level sort of sketch and developed it into a 2-season, like really heartwarming, wholesome, and often emotional show that's just as funny. Like it's quite an achievement, honestly. I was very impressed by it overall. So yeah, I couldn't recommend it enough. Like I I don't know if people really have their eye on things on Apple TV Plus. Probably fair enough because I haven't watched anything else, any other show on there.
Severance looks interesting. The new one they have going on.
Is that the one? That's not the one with what's his face? I don't know. What's his name? Goddamn, 2.5 Men Man.
Oh, I don't know.
Ashton Kutcher,
like
right?
it's that workplace one, isn't it? I actually don't even know if Kutcher's in there. I've just seen like some of the promotional stills. It looks interesting.
Yeah, it's Ashton Kutcher. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I know the one. Yeah. So I mean, I feel like it's sort of on different people's radar. You know, I don't know how. I've never really heard anyone talk about things like C and things like Fitzy thinks it's C-S-S-E-A, but and things like bloody whatever Servant, that M Night show on there, you know. So I feel like a lot of this stuff is sort of falling under the radar. There's quite a bit on there, but Ted Lasso is a joy, and I know it's one. I know it like swept the Emmys last year and stuff, and it totally deserves it. So
Wait,
it's some of the best stuff on TV.
What did you say? CSSSA. What is that?
The show called C that you thought was spelled S-E-A, but it's spelled S-E-E. Remember that?
Jason guy.
Jason and his mower, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. It's a delight if you have Apple TV Plus. Check it out. I don't know. I think you get it for free. Would you get an iPhone or something if you get a new phone? I don't know.
Oh, what? Shit marketing scam.
Yeah, I think you do. I don't know. I think there's pretty. I don't know. I think they sort of give it away a lot of the time in different ways. Like I know I got a deal through PlayStation and got it for like a year free or something. I don't know. They're sort of giving it away, I think. Now it's time, as always, to hand the show over to you with our question of the show. Last week we asked you, what is your favourite spaceship in fiction? Aiden wrote in with a collection of choices here. And I checked out every single one of them to approve or disapprove. We've got the USS Vengeance from Star Trek. And to me, I don't know. That's an excellent question, Jaden. I assume it's not the Enterprise, so I assume it's not that one. Would it be like, I don't know, would it be Voyager or some shit?
Well, I'm pretty sure in Voyager it's called Voyager.
Is it? Would it be the Next Generation one then?
I don't know.
I'm just going through them all at this point. I don't know.
Could be Deep Space Nine.
Is it the Discovery one? Oh, no, that's actually called the Discovery.
I think that's Discovery, yeah.
Deep Space Nine, maybe. That makes sense.
Yeah, could be. Who knows?
Anyway,
yeah.
I saw it and it looked like the Enterprise to me, and I was like, yeah, okay, that's cool. I kind of like the Enterprise. We've got the, I don't know how to say this one, the Rocinante or whatever from The Expanse. Looked pretty cool when I googled it. We got the UNSC Infinity from Halo. That's a cool one. I quite like that one actually because it's quite industrial and quite straightforward. Like it's literally sort of just a rectangle, but it sort of looks like if you were to take if you picture like a modern military carrier and sort of put it in space, it looks pretty cool. We've got the Normandy, which I also really like from Mass Effect. We've got the Engineers ship as well. And this one was from, where was this from? Oh, this was from Alien, right? The Engineer ship? I don't know. I haven't seen it yet in this series, but I believe it's an Alien ship. Do you guys, are you aware of what the Engineers ship is?
Yes. Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
That's coming up?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. Andy Lau wrote in. Andy Lau. Not Andy. Andy Lau wrote in and said, first and foremost, I, Andy Lau, am truly honoured that it's called Infernal Affairs has been reviewed on this wonderful podcast. I knew how much of a fuckboy I was in that film. Oh, Lord. Even though I'm a Hong Kong celebrity with an official Discord account, I'm more proud to have become an avid listener of this show. So therefore, thank you, Cinema Effect. No problem, Mr. Lau. This is a tough question, though. It's got to be the Millennium Falcon from Star Wars, but not the actual film. I mean the one from Family Guy. Remember when Han Solo tells Chewbacca to fly casual? I do. It's a great line. Although he actually says that, if you remember, of course, he says it in Return of the Jedi when they're in the Imperial shuttle. It's got nothing to do with the Millennium Falcon there, Andy. Come on now. Poor form. Luke also said the Millennium Falcon is a great spaceship. That's my answer. I mean, you can't go wrong. No doubt. Iconic. Also, dare I say, slightly boring. You know what I mean? Of an answer, that is. Liam, come and rock this world with your answer, please.
I hope I don't steal your guys's, but I'll say the spinny thing from Interstellar. It goes around and round. Really?
What?
But like the thing that like locks on, you know that scene where it's like dun 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 dun, and it's like locking on. It's like really cool.
Yeah,
it's really cool. You should watch it.
Matt Damon dies. Remember that? Spoilers.
Well, that's not the same scene, but that happens too. Sure.
It is sort of the same scene, isn't it? Like it's sort of extended into that. It's like the same sequence.
Oh, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I think it is. Anyway.
Okay.
What's your answer, Jaden?
Can you go first? Because I kind of forgot about the question. And like,
oh wow! Well, lucky for you, Jaden, I've also got a list. I'm coming in here like Aiden. So first and foremost, shout out to the Ghost for being dope and probably being my favorite like Star Wars, like group ship. You know what I mean? When we think about Star Wars and the iconic sort of named ships, you got the Mantis. You got the friggin' whatever the Mandalorian one was. What's it called? The goddamn
Razor Crest.
The Razor Crest. Thank you. You've got the other one. The I don't know. Forget it. Anyway, the Millennium Falcon is what I was going to say. The Ghost is great. Huge shout out to the Trade Federation control ship. Huge fan of that one, dude. Huge fan of that. You fly around that in Battlefront 2. Semicircle with the ball in the middle. Love that one. Also, huge shout out to the TIE Advanced. Best TIE fighter. TIE fighter, best fighter of all, and the TIE Advanced, best TIE fighter of them all. And there are many TIE fighters.
Is that the one from Rebels when like they have to like destroy the plant?
No, they're the TIE Strikers. The TIE Advanced is Vader's TIE fighter. Sort of like the Interceptor, but no, it's its own thing, sort of. I love Vader's TIE fighter. Anyway, and then I not to be a total dork, I made sure to include a non-Star Wars one, and I said the Endurance from Interstellar. So, thanks, Liam.
That's what you get for asking me first.
Although I knew the name of it, you came out here like, oh, the spinny thing,
Bro, you had to look that up. You did not remember that.
Oh, I totally looked it up. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Jane, do you want me to keep going with Star Wars ships, or have you got yours now?
Yeah, I don't know, because like I feel like I don't really hold any like an affinity for any like certain ships, like like I think there's cool ships for sure, but like I'm like, is there any that I actually like think are my favorite? Yeah. I think the one from Oblivion is actually quite cool. Towards the end of the film when like spoilers happens and they have to go to the big spaceship in the sky.
Let me look at that again.
I think it's a kind of cool design. Like we talked about last week, like is the TARDIS cheating? I mean, like it's just a place phone box. Like, it's cool. It's iconic.
Yeah,
I can for sure say that. I guess
those are some good answers. Yeah, I am looking at this Oblivion triangle now. I like that. That's cool. The upside down triangle. That's neat.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, just shout out to Oblivion for being a good movie. You know what I mean? Oblivion Defense Force out here. Jaden and I, we're standing by it. You know what I mean? We gotta.
Oblivion's good.
It's quite often on Foxtel, and every time, like on like the Foxtel movie channels, and every time I'll be in the front room and like I happen to stumble across it, I'll just finish it off. Like no matter what point it's at, I'm like, oh, Oblivion's on. Oh, it's 40 minutes in. Cool. Oh, it's an hour and a half in. Oh, cool.
You're sick, bro.
It's just Oblivion.
It's a freaking good movie. 100%. 100%, dude. I agree. All right. As always, we'd love you to submit your questions, thoughts, reviews for next week's film in the YouTube comment section. Send us a DM on Instagram or join the Discord community. This week, we're asking you, now, take this very literally in how I say it. What is the most average MCU movie? Not the worst. Most middle of the road, like if you can think of it. And there's a lot of middle of the road MCU films, but what is the most middle of the road MCU film? This was Fitzy's idea. It was a great one. Let us know in the comments. What is the most average MCU film? All right, we've got a poll to announce. It's time. I'm not a part of this one, unfortunately, because I was screwed. And so we got these two boys are going to be nominating. Jen, have you got yours now?
Yeah, kind of. I'm kind of undecided, but like for some reason I'm being pulled towards another Tom Cruise product.
Love that. Love that.
But it may not be one that you expect. It's like, oh, I was going to say Vanilla. No, not Vanilla Sky. I'm going to say Days of Thunder.
I was going to say that. Damn.
What?
Wait, that was going to be.
No,
that was
it
gonna be
wasn't
your
like
number.
this. I just thought I know what you would choose on.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Days of Thunder seems interesting. He's just a NASCAR driver, and he's got to go to Nicole Kidman. So, yeah, that's.
Oh, okay. So
Yes.
did they meet on this film? I guess.
This is 1990. I don't know when did they.
So I
meet?
suppose they would have. Yeah, because
I
they.
think they've
they
done
were
another film together.
Eyes Wide Shut.
No, like other than I don't know.
Other than that,
I think so. They've done a
but
few.
Eyes Wide Shut was like
99.
99. Yeah, so that's a while. Interesting. Okay. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to try and track their failed marriage. My apologies. Liam, what are you nominating?
Donnie. Oh, there we go. Donnie Darko.
Is that Johnny Depp?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay.
No, it's Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, it's not Johnny Depp?
No, you're thinking of Donnie Brasco.
Oh,
Or-
what? Am I?
Is it Brasco? The gangster film?
Yeah.
Or whatever the fuck it is.
Oh, okay.
With Al Pacino as well. Yeah.
Oh, that's weird. Okay. Well, I've never seen either of those films, so that's exciting to me. Very good, very good. Go and get on the Instagram within 24 hours of this posting to vote. Let your voice be heard in the Cinema Effect democracy, people. Do it. Okay. That's it for this week's episode of the show. Liam, what are we watching next week?
The Incredible Hulk on Disney Plus. Yeah. Zach's choice, obviously.
Obviously.
So,
Hey, you could have rejected it, you know what I mean?
yeah, but you have control, you have the power, so can't really
Power
say
do I
anything.
have? I
Can
don't
you?
have any power. You have the Instagram power. You have the influence out here, you know?
Yeah, but you can edit,
Yeah, it's true.
You can make up anything.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to watch it because I've never seen it, and I feel like it's a disgrace that I have not seen every MCU movie.
Is
Is this the 2006 one or the 2003 one?
It's 2008, so I guess
2008.
in your estimation it would be the 2006 one.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
right. Yeah, okay. Is it really 2008? I thought it was 2006. Okay.
It came out 2 months after Iron Man.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And we'll get to there's a post-credit scene, guys. The birth of the post-credit scene. Believe it or not. The trope we all love. So, all right. Well, we'll see you for the Incredible Hulk next week. Thanks, Jane and Liam, for joining me. As always, I appreciate you. I appreciate you listeners as well. And we'll see you all next time. Take care and goodbye.